semifinal as UCF takes on West Virginia. Well, earlier today, it was Missouri getting past St. John. Some late hot shooting for the Tigers, 90-82, and Missouri awaits the winner of this one. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. John Shelby alongside Fran Fraschilla. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. We get a good matchup here, and we start down low, and we look at one of the tallest guys that we've ever seen in NCAA basketball, the tallest guy in college basketball, Taco Fall. Defensively, he's outstanding and getting better on the offensive end.
Absolutely, John, and he's a good basketball player, and it's not just because of his size. He's become more agile. He's good around the basket. We've seen him put it on the floor. This is a great move right here. This is 7'6". Think about that. Anytime he's going to get the ball near the basket, obviously he's going to score the ball easily. And really fun to watch. And obviously on the defensive end, outstanding as well. And then a sophomore for West Virginia, Sax Kanate out of Mali. Went to high school in Pennsylvania. He has become the force inside for the Mountaineers. They lost a lot of heft last season. He's going to provide it this year. And of course, when you talk about West Virginia, over the last 4 years, press Virginia, it starts with this guy. 3-year starter, team leader, one of the outstanding defensive players in college basketball. He is going to have to be a prolific scorer this season for this young team.
All right, let's check out our starting lineups for this one. And for UCF and Johnny Dawkins, it goes Allen, DeJesus, McSpadden, Davis, and Fall in that starting lineup. And Bob Huggins will go this way for his Mountaineers to begin the game. Carter and Miles, the experience in the backcourt, and then West, Harris, and Kanate to start. Now Bob Huggins, of course, 16 years at Cincinnati, had the year at K-State, and now his 11th season at his alma mater and third among active coaches in wins. Fall wins the tip. Davis controls, and the Knights have the basketball. A.J. Davis was kind of like that Swiss Army knife, as you like to talk about. Do a little bit of everything in their win yesterday.
Absolutely. 12, 11.5 a game, 3.5 assists. Versatile.
Off the window, high off the glass for Cesar DeJesus.
Well, he was impressive yesterday. The redshirt freshman. He's got that city game we talked about. You don't have to run any offense for him. He'll make it happen.
Kanate the jumper, in and out, and McSpadden pulls down the board. And here's Davis going at the basket. Kanate the block. He led them in blocks last year. And the dump down low to Taco Fall. Jump hook, and it's too strong.
Central Florida. They're going to put Taco at in the back part of that paint. They're going to dare Kanate to shoot. And he'll do everything he can to discourage those drives.
We get a quick foul on Cesar DeJesus. Johnny Dawkins, his second season at UCF. What a great year they had last year. 24-12, 11-7 in conference.
And they got to New York in the NIT. And, of course, they're shorthanded playing without B.J. Taylor, the outstanding guard who told me earlier, John, he expects to be back by the end of December. And Aubrey Dawkins, Johnny's son, out for the entire season with a shoulder injury.
What do you want to see West Virginia do here in this game offensively that they didn't do against Marist? There's Kanate.
Yeah, run, first of all, because you got to beat the big fella up the floor and don't have to worry about it. And then really have to make shots. And if Kanate can make those shots, he's not going to pull Fall away from the basket. He's just going to make it a little more uncomfortable for UCF.
DeJesus, high off the glass, Fall the putback.
That's hard to duplicate in a walkthrough practice.
Right. Yeah.
You can't.
The 7'6" guy with the putback. Yeah, I'm with you. You want to simulate that. That's a put a guy on your shoulders situation. Kanate, Fall the board.
That's my point, John. He's now 1 for 3. He could shoot that ball all day long if you're Johnny Dawkins. But Big Taco's not leaving the paint.
Davis had it rejected. And then taken back. Taco Fall is fouled. And they get the foul this time on Wesley Harris of West Virginia.
Watch the quick hands right here. Davis gets rejected. And that DeJesus comes out of nowhere. Now, Taco shooting 80% from the line this season. But he's only been there 5 times. Still.
Again, he missed their first 2 games with a hip injury, kind of a hip and a quad. And in their win over Nebraska, had 11 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Too strong that time, and he goes 0 for 2.
Knights, full court press off the missed free throw. Usually this means they'll go back to zone. And they actually go back to man, something they haven't done very much. But they do change their defenses up.
West from the side. And that one out of bounds, and it belongs to UCF.
Lamont West, John, you and I have watched him now for a couple of years. He is an excellent outside shooter. He is shooting contested shots. He is shooting with a hand in his face, and that is not good for his percentages.
Allen flips it up. And DeJesus, high arcing shot. Fall pulls it down, and Fall throws it home.
It's got to be a good feeling if you play for UCF that you can just throw the ball up by the rim and big guy's going to go hunt him down.
Carter. And that jumper wouldn't go.
Yep, contested shot.
This is a really good defensive team, UCF. Miles, as Carter was cutting, and now West right up against Fall, and Fall the rebound of the miss. And now they get the foul on Lamont West.
I never mind drives at the basket. I don't care who's back there. You want to attack the rim. And I don't consider drives at the rim a contested shot. But those last 2 jump shots are not good percentage shots for West Virginia. They need more ball movement, stretch the defense side to side before Carter and West let those go. John, Carter, Miles, and West on the season came in today shooting 28% from 3.
Yeah, they really struggled. 21%. 8 for 38 West Virginia went against Marist from 3. Probably a few too many attempts there, but I would say certainly need to shoot it at a higher percentage. Davis, foot slipped there for a second. Now spinning. And they get the travel that time. Doug Sermon's on the call. UCF, the early 6-2 lead. John Shambi, Fran Fraschilla from HP Fieldhouse. Semifinal number 2. Winner gets Missouri tomorrow night, or beg your pardon, Sunday night. And that'll be 9:30 Eastern.
Here's a little more 2-2-1 pressure for UCF. I mentioned Johnny Dawkins likes to change his defenses.
Harler lost it, and a turnover. 4-on-1. McSpadden, there's a block. How about Carter? Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. 1-on-4, and he was able to stop it. Now Allen, and they get the travel.
Oh, John, watch the timing. Javon Carter goes about 6'2", usually known for steals. At the end, all ball. Woo!
Wide World of Sports complex at Walt Disney World Resort. The ultimate sports experience for athletes, families, coaches, and fans.
Back here at HP Fieldhouse, Advocare Invitational semifinal number 2, and UCF off to a good start. West Virginia played a tight game in the quarterfinals against Marist, and the defense wasn't great.
No, up 13 at the half. Marist put on an outstanding shooting performance in the second half, and Mike Maker said afterwards that might have been the best performance his team has had in his 5 years as he tries to build this program. Really impressive, right? They played the
really hard,
tails off,
and especially being down the way they were. I think that's the thing that jumps out.
This ball looked like it was thrown out of bounds, and I'm not sure anybody touched it. But I think Pete Uzinas said it was a deflection. Is that Chase Harler?
Harler here.
See, they're trying to run their inside game, and last year they had 3 bruisers inside. It's a little bit different right now with Weston, Harler, and Bender, who did not have a great game last night, just tosses it to the media table.
Machi Bender, the guy they look to rebound and do the tough stuff. And now remember, they did have another year of eligibility for Elijah Macon, but he elected to turn pro after graduating.
There's Nathan Adrian, graduated. He was so effective. It's a younger team, 7 sophomores and a freshman to go along with that senior backcourt.
Davis jump stop, kicks to the corner. Allen. And loose ball ends up with Teddy Allen. Yeah, I think Bob Huggins is wondering if his team has the stuff, you know? And I think he knows Javon Carter has it, but guys like Nathan Adrian had it last year. Guys like Tariq Phillip had it.
Man, he had it in spades.
Feed down low, out of bounds. It stays with the Mountaineers. 7 on the shot clock. But again, it needs to be reiterated. So West Virginia struggled offensively against Marist. This is a UCF team that will cause problems for any team's offense.
Oh, they will.
They're good on defense.
Absolutely. Great last year. They'll be good again this year. They change their defenses. They're sound. They pack it in.
Miles from way downtown. And they'll go with a shot clock violation. The #1 field goal defense in America last year belonged to UCF.
Yes, and John, the reason they are so good is one of the underrated aspects of field goal defense is contesting shots, getting a hand up. It's been proven that your shooting percentage is going to be 10 to 15% lower when you shoot with a hand in your face, and that's what they do every time.
Donate rebounds the UCF miss. Kick up ahead. West. And it's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with West Virginia.
Mountaineers have shot 3 threes tonight, 0 for 3, all with a hand in their face.
Well, they've got 1 field goal and 2 points so far. Make it 2 field goals and 5 points.
That's a semi-contested shot. See that? West is in his rhythm. The defender is late, and you have to make those. Good defenses are not going to give you anything else.
Davis turns it over. I think that the biggest difference between college and the NBA is the NBA guys' consistent ability to make contested shots.
That's right. Exactly. And that's why they're NBA players. Because in college, what you want to do is move the ball to either get it to the paint where you can get fouled or get open shots. And right now, analytically, the best thing you do when you shoot jump shots is shoot the 3 ball. That's a contested shot.
Carter off the mark. And a foul inside. It'll go the other way. It's on West Virginia.
And that is a perfect example. Unless you're an NBA player that's consistently making those kind of shots, you're not going to make that shot at a high rate.
So a slow start offensively for both these teams.
I had a number of teams, particularly at Manhattan and St. John's, John, that were really good field goal defense teams, and we charted every game the amount of uncontested shots we gave up. And our number was 4 or less open shots. That's what that's our goal.
The whole game.
The whole game.
Bolden wide open. Good look right there. Got to hit that. Carter, another good look. And he hits.
And see, that's what I call semi-contested. The defender is coming, but he's late, and he's not changing your rhythm at all. And in college, those are the shots you must make against good teams. Otherwise, you don't take them. Spent the first couple minutes of this game on a dissertation on shooting percentages, but that's why.
Out of bounds. And it stays with West Virginia. 13:35 to go, 8-6. And Mountaineers with a 2-point advantage. Miles, catch and shoot. Kanate, rebound, putback is good.
Love the effort as he hits that bicep. Says, yeah, I've been in a weight room.
Out of bounds, turnover. West Virginia basketball, and they just got a tech on Lamont West.
Great trap. They got him in the, what I used to call the idiot corner. Because you don't want to pick up that ball where the sideline and the midcourt line are. That's 2 extra defenders, and then West picks up the tee. Let's see. Watch the trap. It's a great trap right here. Gets the defender to fall down. I didn't see anything, John, and I didn't even see him react.
I mean, West was out of the shot, but the other thing is that the UCF player on the ground, he didn't appear to be directing anything at him, at least in terms of the reaction, as Griffin misses the free throw.
Remember, that's a personal foul on West, as well as the tee.
That's the second, and it's a 3-point game. Johnny Dawkins in his second year at UCF. Of course, was at Stanford and formerly an assistant at Duke.
Doug Sermons came over and said it was a Class A technical for taunting. So whether it was a verbal or some sort of reaction, I didn't see it. Little zone now by UCF. We told you they changed their defenses up. And that ball has to go side to side.
Bolden can't hit. James Bolden's had some good looks, both tonight already and last night. West Virginia fans wanted the double dribble. Bolden again, and this time he knocks it down.
The best shooter on this team, Beetle Bolden. Only a sophomore.
Johnny Dawkins calls time. Well, the West Virginia Mountaineers, they certainly got a good crowd in the house, and right now they get a 6-point advantage. (13-7) our score. Pete Uzenis, the official, calling it technical earlier, Fran Fraschilla.
Yep, and let's take a look at it. He was right on top of the play. The ball's going to be dribbled out of bounds, and West's going to come over, and as you freeze it right here, watch the official. He's looking right at West. West must have said something or reacted somehow, because there's no way he would have given him a taunting Class A technical foul without some sort of reaction from West. And, you know, you got to control your emotions. You're excited, playing hard. Just got to know better.
One of the things for this game is West Virginia right now on an 11-1 run. I think this is interesting as it pertains to UCF, and that is the Knights 5 possessions with Taco Fall out there, 6 points. 10 possessions without Fall, 1 point.
And Big Taco Fall is back in the ball game. I do like the energy and effort from West Virginia tonight. And you got the feeling they were going to come out with a little more juice based on the way they finished that second half last night.
Allen lost the handle. And UCF turns it over.
You know, this UCF team playing without B.J. Taylor, one of the best players in the American Conference.
So he's their top returner.
Yeah, backcourt's young. Freshmen, 2 sophomores. They're getting a lesson right now.
Taylor out with a broken foot. He sustained. And they're hoping he'll be back sometime mid-late December. Miles now going to work, gets in the paint. Nice. Over Taco Fall. Yep.
I like it, and I wouldn't even mind if that got blocked. Didn't have anything on the perimeter, so Miles created an opportunity.
Bolden able to draw the offensive foul.
Zone defense was pretty effective, no open looks. And watch Dax Miles down the lane to shoot that floater just over Taco Fall's hands. Nicely done by the senior from Baltimore, who has more starts than Javon Carter, although they came in together. And you know, the story goes when they were freshmen, Bob Huggins would say at practice, hey, give me 5 guys. And he was always out there with the first 5. And Huggs said, you know what? We're going to put him in a starting lineup. It's worked out pretty well over 4 years.
Those two forming one of the most experienced backcourts of any Power 5 school out there. Carter knocking down that jumper. And they get the foul on Miles. And that'll be his first.
You know, we said it last night, John, and I watched Baylor over the last couple days. You don't beat the zone from outside. You got to beat it in the lane. Last 2 baskets have been a floater and then a mid-range pull-up.
Defensive team commits a foul. They can
contact, tip up ahead. Miles tried for that lob as Kanate came flying in, and they get the foul inside on Deion Griffin.
Daxter Miles, Bob Huggins not happy with this. He needs to go right to the basket. Make the defender guard up. See, the defender never had to commit to Dax because we knew here at half court he was throwing the lob. Go to the basket for 2, and then when they close to defend you, drop it off.
With the defender in the mix, that is not a high percentage play there with the lob.
John, in a 2-on-1, if you're a young player at home, you're always thinking score first. If you don't think score, the defender can bluff at you and get back to the big guy. So if you think score, he's going to react to you. Then you dump it off.
Loose ball. Carter tracks it down. And now West. He can't hit. Fall the rebound. UCF got to get something going. As in the first 9 minutes plus, they've got just 7 points. And a travel. It'll go the other way.
Griffin looked at the official that was 20 feet away from him saying, how come you didn't call it? He looked at him like, that guy had to call it from all the way over there? And that's what Johnny Dawkins is asking. Doug Sermon's had a good look at it.
Bolden, 3, and he gets another. So he's starting to heat up. Yes. Timeout, UCF, and James Bolden feeling it from outside. The lefty can really shoot it. West Virginia leading 21-7. And James Bolden with a couple of threes. And a West Virginia team that struggled from the three-point line. And last night's win over Marist, faring a little better in this one. Not great, but better.
This team is a little easier to guard, John, because they have a traditional big man, a couple big men. Last night, if you remember, Marist really spread out all 5 West Virginia defenders. And how many times?
It's that John Beilein stuff.
Yes. How many times did we talk about backdoors last night, right? You got it. Look up ahead. Watch out.
And then the foul. Man, the lack of awareness there was big with a player way ahead of the pack.
This is a terrible play by Konate, and he knows it. When there's a teammate ahead, see where West is? You have to give that ball up. And he knows it. Bob Huggins knows it. He's looking for the hero dunk. He's too good a player. I used to take guys out immediately on that play because all he's got to do is throw it to West. They score. They're up 23-7. Now he'll go to the line. He knows. He's a good guy, great teammate, but Bob Huggins was not happy with that.
11 minutes a game last year, and now being asked to play a much bigger role. So here's UCF. 9 turnovers in their last 10 possessions. To the corner, and Allen. West rips down the board.
And that might as well have been a turnover because it was great pursuit and great contest.
From the foul line. Wouldn't go. And a loose ball ends up with A.J. Davis.
This is a lot more that, like the West Virginia defense we're used to. You can tell, John, they're locked in. UCF not really a back-cutting team.
And a rejection there. West now. Lost the ball. Kick up ahead. De Jesus. And off the miss, Bolden and the Mountaineers. End to end we go. Bolden wide open. Gets another.
Beautiful.
Well, the Mountaineers starting to find themselves in the offensive end. And the outstanding defense has got to play a factor there.
You know, when you play great defense and you get stops and turnovers, it gives your offense, it gives them juice, energy. And you don't feel as bad about missing a shot because you know you're going to get it back with a stop.
Fall is fouled. And he'll go to the line and a chance to end a 16-0 run. Well, lots of college basketball going on the ESPN family of networks as North Carolina was able to get past Arkansas in the semifinals earlier. And they await the winner of UConn and Michigan State. And then the motion bracket, Duke and Texas going on, and still to come Florida and Gonzaga.
Yeah, both Florida and Gonzaga extremely impressive last night. Florida, John, scoring over 100. Kulichov, the transfer from Rice, a great shooter, one of the best in the country. I love their guards. They got good young big guys. And Zag's retooling pretty quickly.
Got all the way to that championship game last year.
Yes, they did. And North Carolina's had some turnover, and I love what Uncle Roy's doing with that backcourt. Kenny Williams playing the best he's played. Of course, we know Joe Barry's going to be an All-American.
Bender gives off Carter. Javon gets into the paint, spins and shoots and hits. He's just a really good player. He's under control, makes good decisions.
And he had a great eye for that shot clock.
Miles, good look. Allen lost it. Miles hangs and hits.
He's 6'2", but he's one of the toughest guys you'll meet. We saw him crash the offensive glass last night. The ball pressure's been exemplary
Davis inside. Missed, and then the putback goes for A.J. Davis. Carter. That was gorgeous.
Yep.
Little step back right there. He's got 9.
That is a move you must perfect. And boy, did he do it. Push off that front foot. That's a tough pass.
Out of bounds. It'll stay with UCF. Take another look at Javon Carter.
Watch that right foot now. Jamming it to the ground and push back. Step back. Drive it. Step back. Woo, through the legs. I like it. Woo.
Is all Mountaineers back here, semifinal number 2, the Advocare Invitational, 32-11. John Shelby, Fran Fraschilla with you. And a football update for you. Number 15, UCF. They're leading South Florida as they begin the second half. And it's 21-20 over there at Spectrum Stadium. Miami a loser in football earlier today, so UCF one of, what, 3 unbeatens that remain?
And that's a big game. Winner of that game this afternoon will go to the American Conference Finals against Memphis. Mike Norvell's done a terrific job with the Tigers. And of course, a lot of speculation about Scott Frost, the outstanding young coach. Nice
Dexter Miles.
Yeah. Versatile.
Doug Sermons, the official, handed out 5. And here's McSpadden now with the freshman Allen on him. And they get Teddy Allen with that foul. Teddy Allen, born in Arizona, did high school in Nebraska, was a brilliant high school player in Nebraska. In fact, Gatorade State Player of the Year, averaging over 30 points.
Scoring machine. Been talking about him in Morgantown for a couple of years now. He's finally arrived. He'll be a good player. He's still figuring things out.
You're telling me he's got a brother.
Yep, brother Timmy's going to go play for Larry Kostowiak at Utah. A couple of years younger. Highly recruited on the circuit this summer. He committed to Utah in the fall. Teddy's got that. He's got that body by Jake that Hudge is going to love over the next 4 years.
Point advantage for West Virginia's Carter handles. Bender will try a 3. That's way off the mark. Toss up ahead. McSpadden. Offensive foul. When Bolden's drawn, I want to say, at least 3 offensive fouls in the last couple of days.
Yes, and we talked about this yesterday. A year ago, he was not strong enough, according to Bob Huggins, to see major minutes. Pretty frail as a redshirt freshman, but not afraid to throw his body around. That'll help him get minutes. He'll play major minutes this year, John. He can really score. I thought McFadden should have just thrown that ball up to Taco Fall, who was waiting at the rim.
Carter gives off Allen. Kick out Bolden. Contested. Off the mark. Bolden offensive rebound. And now Carter. Allen will try. That one a little bit short. And a fight for the loose ball. And I think they got Logan Rout. They'll march it down to the other end. Brand, I will tell you one of the things that, again, we talked with Bob Huggins pregame, and he's still trying to figure his team out. We talked about them. Do they have the stuff? And I know this is kind of a dumb point. You've worked with me for a while. But one of the things that in watching this team, and not to go negative, but man, I worry about the minutes when Carter's not on the court.
Yes, yes.
And how they can really play effective basketball as opposed to just hanging on by their fingernails.
Well, I think what's going to happen with this young team, and Bolden comes to mind, Teddy Allen, is Chase Harlard. This is how you learn. You grow up, you know. You play without him for minutes at a time.
Yep.
Daxter Miles should be the guy when Carter's not on the floor that could take over in terms of running the team, keeping everybody settled. And I think, and I've said this, I think the great thing about this West Virginia team is they'll lose 2 senior guards. They got Brandon Napper sitting out at the end of the bench. He's a freshman out with an injury this year. But John, 7 sophomores and a freshman right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a young team. Mountaineers trying to book their ticket for the finals where they would take on Missouri Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern. Look down inside, Taco Fall rejected by Logan Rout, and that actually went out of bounds.
Logan Rout, great story, man. Cameron, West Virginia, grew up a Mountaineer fan. Take a look coming over from the backside, got all ball. Was a walk-on, John, until this summer, and you know, they did one of those videos that went viral. Bob Huggins gave him a scholarship. Fans, teammates went crazy, and well earned.
I didn't see. I've seen those videos where a walk-on gets the scholarship. I did not see his.
And again, he's a work in progress. He's a freshman, so I got him as a sophomore. I guess he redshirted the year before last.
Fall not able to hit.
And Taco started the season 4 for 5.
But this has been a more exemplary version of the West Virginia defense than what we saw, especially the second half last night against Marist. They have really put the handcuffs on UCF. Carter, a little ball fake into the lane, high arcing shot, tip up and in. There's Machi Bender.
Well, obviously, when Taco comes over to challenge, Bender gets loose on the backside. Softly put on that rim by Carter. Easy opportunity to score. And the Mountaineers continue to be relentless. Done a really good job, even though they've committed 10 fouls, of no dumb fouls.
Allen, right by Fall. That one knocked out of bounds, and it belongs to UCF. Under 5 to go here in the first half. John Chambi and Fran Fraschilla from HP Fieldhouse, Lake Buena Vista, and ESPN's Wide World of Sports Complex. Well, points off turnovers where you expect West Virginia to dominate, and they have.
And there's another turnover.
Ouch.
This looks like what we're used to seeing out of this defense. Traps have been smart. The pressure on the ball's been good. Nothing easy inside.
And they're inside now. Bolden. Shot clock under 10. Carter going to work. Bolden, that's a 3, and it's short. And it belongs to the Knights. 34-13, 4:23 to go. UCF with a win over Nebraska to get here, and Bob Huggins' team with a win over Marist. They had to hang on. Marist with that furious run in the second half. David Knutson knocking down shots.
He was red hot.
And Miles got his hand on the lob as Brown went up.
Dax didn't like this. Call came from outside. Let's take a look. Looked like he got him at the backside, whacked him a little.
Chad Brown, another guy, big guy, goes 6'9", 240. Another shot blocker that they have.
Hey, did you hear our guy Dickie V said the Big 12 is the 5th best league in the country this year, and he made some good points about it. The one argument I would say is when you compare the Big 12 to the SEC and the ACC, Big 10, those teams have 15 and 16. Those are like 2 leagues at once.
Right.
I think the Big 12 right now could get 7 teams out of 10 in the NCAA tournament. So in terms of, you know, per capita, if you will, and how the computer will spit it out, I think this league's going to be awfully good. A lot of teams trying to all of a sudden figuring out that Texas Tech and TCU are good.
Jumper is good for Wesley Harris.
Let's see what kind of pressure he exerts on the ball, because he's the key.
Jesus able to get it to Allen. And a nice steal by Carter, and he saves it. Wow.
Great job to stay in bounds and great anticipation.
Carter the jumper. That wouldn't go. And UCF gets a timeout. 37-15 our score. Javon Carter and West Virginia in control.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge savings on all things winter. And Courtyard, Fairfield, 4 Points, and Spring Hill Suites. We live by the golden rule.
To halftime with you guys, and West Virginia's enjoyed themselves so far.
Till Dowan is paying attention. He had those 15 points, 15 turnovers down to a T, and he's exactly right. I said yesterday and on Twitter and heard back a little bit that I wasn't sure this West Virginia team was the second best team in the Big 12. They're obviously playing better tonight. But from 2 to about 8 or 9, this league is going to be unbelievable. And I don't think this is Bill Self's best Kansas team either, John. On paper, it might be one of his worst, even though they're playing great basketball at the moment.
Inside, and they get the block as Allen got at the rim. And the foul is on Bolden. Harris, whether he banged his knee or what happened, he's grimacing a bit. I'm with you in terms of right now, but take a look at what happened here.
Yep. Speaking of Kansas, Wesley Harris, high school teammate of Malik Newman at Jackson Callaway, and he's learning Bob Huggins' style. As he's got to get on the ground.
Okay. Harris kind of took one, got clipped on the side there a little bit.
You could make the argument right now that Texas Tech and TCU could be the second best team in this conference.
No, I understand. But I would also maintain, I mean, how many times have you gotten a chance, saying this the other day, where you watch teams at this point in the year and then you go see them in February and it's just so different?
No question. And you know what, great coaches, I always said you don't stay the same. You either get better or you get worse in 3 months, and a lot of that has to do with coaching, and this particular team is going to get better and better.
Yeah, it's a little bit where I was pointing it, that I feel like, yeah, they may not be the second best team in the Big 12 right now, but it just seems like year in and year out, Bob Huggins gets them where you're in the middle of February and going to play in Morgantown, and good luck.
Oh, yeah. Well, the fun thing about the Big 12 is also the great coaching. You think of guys that have been in Final Fours like Lon Kruger, Shaka Smart, Bob Huggins. Well, Texas Tech now, they've got an experienced team. And you know, Duke trailing Texas, what I thought about, John, I'm going to take experience over youth this entire season. I don't care if it's Kentucky, Missouri, or Duke. When we get to March, I'm taking the Villanovas and the teams with major experience.
Well,
Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, for a long stretch, it seemed like the difference between some of the Power 5 teams and the mid-major types is that they would have the experienced teams. When you're talking about Power 5 teams that have talent and experience, I totally get you.
You know, when you lose a game in the NCAA tournament and you don't have any one-and-done guys,
right?
You know, the next Monday everybody's back in the gym and the weight room thinking about next season. You know, when you have those one-and-done guys at Kentucky or Duke, once they lose, you know, it's the agents, it's the NBA workouts, it's, you know, endorsements, and you move on. I like the teams that suffer the tough loss in the tournament and decide they're going to come back and make it happen the next year.
I like getting endorsements personally. Kick out. Bolden tries another and hits a three. And Bolden,
now
with his 4th three, he's got a dozen points. And Carter with a steal. And they slow it down as we close in now. 2 minutes to go. And West Virginia up by 24. Carter inside. Bender using his strength. And the rebound West. And there's the rejection from Brown. We told you Chad Brown could block some shots, and we saw it right there. And they get the travel. Simon says 1 giant step. Make it 2.
And Doug Sermons is demonstrating that, Simon says, right on the sideline.
Doug Sermons is active here in the first half. Carter weaving inside, left hand wouldn't go, and that one pulled down by Griffin. Here's DeJesus. And the reverse, Allen wouldn't go, Bender the board.
And everything's gone wrong for the Knights, 4-0 Knights.
Hunter, that's off. Bender a rebound. And Hunter will go to the line and shoot 2. West Virginia with an outstanding first half. The Mountaineers into the Sweet 16 2 of the last 3 seasons. Well, look at that. 17 turnovers and 21 field goals attempted by UCF.
I'll make the argument, without looking at last year's stats, that this might be the worst half of basketball that UCF has played under Johnny Dawkins. We talked about last year and how well they played. They're 4-0 right now. This is a good basketball team, but West Virginia has brought the energy tonight, and Press Virginia has been full throttle.
Douglas handling. And gives off to DeJesus. DeJesus flips it up, won't go. And they get the foul. It'll be on Bolden.
Beadle's got to know right there with a low clock that all DeJesus is going to do is put his head down and drive it. And he's almost, I wouldn't say he's better off letting him go to the basket, but he's got to make sure that there's no contact and that he forces a tough shot. If it goes in, great, but no reason to pick up a foul there, and that's just experience.
DeJesus with the free throw now has 3. He had 15 in their win against Nebraska. Timeout on the court. And, well, rivalry weekend, and a couple of teams looking to avoid upsets, stand the college playoff top 4. First, it's West Virginia and number 4 Oklahoma, and then Clemson And South Carolina, number 3 and number 24. That's at 7:30 Eastern time. Both games on ESPN, also be found on the ESPN app.
So are you giving the Heisman to Baker Mayfield right now? And does character matter at all if you had a vote?
You talking about like what he did on the sideline?
Yeah.
Do I think that plays into?
I'm asking.
For me?
Well,
they took my vote away years ago.
Okay.
That would not play in for me. That one single, you could make a case if you wanted to build something larger. I'd be more open, but that one specific incident, no.
Well, I think he's the best player in the country. I just wish he'd be a little more mature. It's going to be a little different in the NFL. They're not going to, they're going to hurt him in the NFL with all the taunting. But what a magnificent season.
Carter, high arcing jumper, rebound UCF. And that is the way the first half ends. 43-20. Bob Huggins' team outstanding on the defensive end. 17 points off of 17 turnovers. And it's 43-20 at the break. Time now to send it back to the studio. Matt Chick, Dallin Cuff. Fellas, take it away. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's. This is the Advocare Invitational from ESPN's Wide World of Sports. And from HP Fieldhouse at the break, it is West Virginia leading UCF 43-20. Check out our brackets. Earlier today, it was Missouri getting past St. John's 90-82, and they await the winner of this one in our championship, and that will be on Sunday night at 9:30. Hi, folks. John Chomby and Fran Fraschilla. Well, West Virginia got a scare last night as they came close to losing against Marist, but they have really locked down defensively. In that first half, West Virginia held UCF to 4 field goals.
Bob Huggins and his staff were up till 4 in the morning last night, John, and then he rarely shows up at breakfast, but he was there to deliver the message. We are going to play better and harder, and defensively particularly, they've been outstanding. Offensively, they've been good, but this guy's been great. Beetle Bolden out of Covington, Kentucky, sophomore red shirt, can really fire it, knock it down. Had to get stronger this summer, and now that he has gotten a little bit stronger, throwing his body around on the defensive end, and terrific compliment to Miles and Carter in that Mountaineer backcourt. Great first half by Beetle Bolden.
Yeah, he could straight up shoot it. They've got a number of guys that can, but shot selection, as you mentioned, crucial. And West Virginia, much better.
Yeah, much, much better than last night.
Mountaineers basketball to begin the second half, up by 23. Harris goes baseline and then steps on the baseline. That's a turnover.
Wesley Harris a little thirsty on that possession, looking to make a little too much happen. So, delay of game warning, but with all that room, this year the referee is allowed to move the defensive player on the ball back away from the baseline, but offensive player has a lot of room back there.
So they get it into Allen, who will push it up ahead. And now Davis, clear lane at the basket, and he gets fouled. A.J. Davis at the rim, and he'll shoot 2.
A.J. pretty quiet first half scoring-wise. That's not necessarily his forte. 7 rebounds, but John, 0 assists, 6 turnovers. Very unlike A.J. Davis, the outstanding redshirt senior.
Guy started his career at Tennessee. Of course, dad, Antonio Davis. Dad played college at UTEP and played in the NBA from 93 to 2006. Had a long NBA career.
Some good players at UTEP back then, including a guy named Tim Hardaway. Great Don Haskins, coach there for many years. Tim Floyd's there now. With that foul line jumper Sags was hitting in the first half.
Davis the rebound.
He's doing too much.
Indeed.
Yeah, he had the ball the entire possession, went 1-on-3.
And they get a push off on Javon Carter.
Watch Javon now as he comes up the floor. Watch the left arm.
Yeah. Just got extended too much. That. And now Davis.
Don't want to pick it up there. Up.
And they get Miles on the foul.
It's a cylinder foul call. That's a new rule this year. You're supposed to allow the offensive player room to pivot. Bob Huggins said he was on the side, and I've asked many officials whether this is a foul if he's on the side of you. Some say yes, some say no. I'm confused, but the idea here is to give the room for the offensive player to be able to pivot within his space, John. Hence the cylinder foul.
Jesus, and that shot off the mark. In execution, it's been problematic so far. I personally think in concept, it's a rule that makes some sense.
It does. It does. The question is, if you're illegally guarding a man who hasn't moved into you yet and you're stationary, why should the foul be on you when he turns into you? I think the rule is designed to keep defenders from crowding a man with the ball. But it's got some issues, and it'll be worked out. Hadn't seen it called that much this year.
Ball inside, and he traveled.
Well, the woes continue for the Knights. The only other half that we came up with that was any worse than this half was back at UConn about a year ago in January. 18 points, 6 of 29. I don't think West Virginia's offense is off to a great start this second half.
I would say that's a fair point. Ball, the one-handed stuff over Canate.
Zags is going to tell his grandkids about that one, because that doesn't happen to him very often.
Right. Or maybe he won't. Jumper won't go. And UCF with a chance to cut into the lead further. A shot short. Harler tracks it down as Griffin wasn't able to knock it down. And a travel. Wow. Not a thing of beauty to start this second half.
And you know, when you think about it, the defense is still stellar. It's been awesome. But the offense, minus Beto Bolden's outside shooting in that first half, it's been fairly mediocre, really, even though they have this giant lead of 22 points.
West Virginia's second half, 7 possessions, 4 turnovers, and 1 make on 3 tries.
You got to be careful when you have a big lead that guys don't get into that, you know, one pass, I'm going to get my shot up. Because that's not West Virginia basketball. It's ball movement, spread you out, and then let those guards drive and attack. Can't spread the defense out without reversing the basketball.
Davis at the bucket, and it counts, +1.
And a lot better energy for UCF to start this second half. Take a look, watch AJ now. He's going to draw the contact and good concentration to finish at the rim.
Davis able to finish there. So the lead to 19. And now some pressure from UCF. And 10 seconds. And immediately Harler is out of the game and Miles back in.
It was because Carter got trapped in the full court and held on to that ball, and there's an offensive foul, so we're just going back and forth now. We're just in a referee clinic at the moment, John.
I thought that Bolden sold that nicely.
Yeah. And between the turnovers and the fouls, the referees are the most active people here to start the second half.
Not a fan of that.
Well,
I understand what it emanates from.
Yeah.
I just...
Well, we saw a flop yesterday called.
Yeah.
If it's embellished a little too much, it's a technical foul now.
Right. Bender inside.
No chance.
And Fall rejects it, I think, with both hands.
Yeah, no chance.
McSpadden. And that one knocked away. Miles comes away with it. Here's Carter. The lob. And the layup.
That was well done. We talked about that 2-on-1 in the first half. By passing the ball, they moved the defense. And now when you lob it up there, there's no defender back there making a play on the ball. Well done.
Well, I feel like those two together have done that more than once.
Yes.
McSpadden travels.
Got to get the defender on a 2-on-1 to commit. Watch these two guys. Two senior guards. Well done. Done it many times before, I guarantee you.
Back here at ESPN's Wide World, the Sports Complex, HP Fieldhouse, and this week presented by Lowe's. West Virginia leading UCF, and right now about 40 miles away, and UCF trailing South Florida 34-28. Start of the fourth. That is big over there at Spectrum Stadium.
And with all the talk about UCF, Charlie Strong's done a terrific job in his first year. Former coach at Texas, he replaced Willie Taggart, who's gone off to Oregon, and Charlie knows the state of Florida about as well as anybody. Former defensive coordinator at University of Florida.
One unbeaten's already lost today. Miami lost at Pitt. And a foul on Miles Douglas.
That was his first team second.
Double for Bolden.
Shot clock winding down. Miles. And the left hand wouldn't go, and Davis rips it away. West Virginia by 21. UCF's got to find an answer offensively.
26 points. Anemic.
And again, without B.J. Taylor, they're arguably their top player. He's out with a broken foot. Second half of their season opener, they said 4 to 6 weeks for Taylor. There he is. And so with B.J. out, the hope is what, mid to late December?
He guaranteed me tonight that he'd be ready December 26th because they'll go and play their first conference game at SMU on the 27th. And
he guaranteed you.
He did, yeah. Well, I told him I was doing the game. You know, it's a mile from my house. He goes, Coach, I'm going to play. I'll be there.
Lob, Miles couldn't finish, but underneath and putting it home is Wesley Harris.
Good energy by Harrison. He's only a sophomore. He'll learn that press as well.
Davis feeds Fall inside. +1. Taco Fall to the line.
Good patience by Davis. On occasion, he'll get a little bit out of control, but for a guy 6'9", he really knows how to play. Watch him draw to defense. Bender comes up. Never help up, John. When you help up like that, you expose the baseline. And what makes it worse? When the guy in the baseline is 7'6". Always stay back and force Davis to maybe shoot a 8-footer as opposed to dropping it off.
I'm a helper, Fran. I can't. Sometimes it's just unavoidable. You know?
I've heard that you didn't even help. I heard that you wouldn't even guard anybody back in your day.
Can't believe that word has gotten out there. Shocked. Taco Fall, grab a seat, check again.
I did hear
Chad Brown.
I did hear that you were a master at the tools of ignorance.
Yeah,
right?
that's correct.
You were a catcher in your day.
Carter flips it up ahead. West Virginia by 20. Missouri awaits the winner in the championship game, 9:30 Eastern, Sunday night. Carter, step back, jumper short. Bender the rebound. Why are you putting it on the floor there?
Well, how good was Missouri today? Great effort. Both teams, I thought, played really hard.
Really hard, and I just, you know, it's one of those spots where I'd say with about 7 minutes left in that game where it was kind of back and forth and even,
yes.
And Missouri just made more shots, made more plays.
I honestly don't think I've seen a team play harder than St. John's this year. Now, I've said a couple times this weekend, they played too hard on offense sometimes, but they have energy, they have effort, they have enthusiasm, they have two great guards.
That one tossed up, intended for Bender. Davis takes it away. And UCF can get it under 20 here. That one launched by Griffin. What do you mean play too hard on offense?
It is one thing to cut hard and move hard, but they play so hard that they're a little too helter-skelter sometimes. And when I watched them practice a couple weeks ago, everything they do in practice is with intensity. And offense is about timing and execution. That makes sense?
Yeah.
They run really good plays, and they have some really talented players. Sometimes they just get themselves sped up.
Bender gets fouled, and I believe they got Chad Brown. More basketball going on. PK 80 out there in Portland. Victory bracket. North Carolina with a victory over Arkansas. And coming up, it'll be Michigan State and UConn. That's at midnight Eastern. And in the motion bracket, how about Texas up?
Yep.
How surprised are you by that?
You know what? I'm not, because Duke's got a lot of young guys that I'm still trying to figure it out, you know. Minus, if Grayson Allen doesn't get 37
right.
in the champions, they would have lost to Michigan State. Texas, Shaka Smart, year 3. Mo Bamba's terrific, but a lot of guys are growing up at Texas.
They're going to find some guys to shoot.
They do.
Down there in Austin.
Yep.
Carter. Did he hold his pivot foot? He shoots.
He did a good job there. I think Texas is one of those surprise teams in the Big 12 this year. They went through the net. Yep. Easy call. Doug Sermon's pretty aggressive. You can see the nets moved a little bit, but it looked like Bender went through the net to try to block that shot. And Dr. Naismith said this is a violation of the rules of the game.
You go through the bottom of the peach basket, or what are we talking about there from Dr. Naismith?
I don't know. I just made that one up.
Okay.
But you know what? Next time we're in Lawrence, Kansas, we're going to go see Dr. Naismith's 13 rules of the game.
You got to.
I know you shall not run. That's one that is etched in my brain.
They got to fix the net. It's going to bother me. Well, somebody go pull on the net a little bit. Davis handles here. It's been all West Virginia. They're up by 20. Should About 12.5 to go in this one. Davis up and under. And Miles rebounds. Here come the Mountaineers.
UCF just switching out top.
Miles shot, got it to go. Well, this is one of those stretches. I asked and talked about what happens when Javon Carter is on the bench, and here's the stretch.
And that's where Miles will have to take over during the season. It doesn't have to be the scoring, although that's not bad. It's just the overall leadership. I'm looking out there at 4 sophomores and a senior.
Right.
Good effort by Beadle. Bolden, he was backed in. They thought they had a bunny inside. Couldn't get it done. Beadle, tougher than he looks. He's been in the weight room.
West Virginia leading UCF 53-31. And Bob Huggins, his 11th season at his alma mater. And, oh, I dig that. Back in 2008, rocked the gold suit for the Cincinnati game.
I like this one.
Yeah,
he's between sets at JJ's Sports Lounge at the Greenbrier right there.
Look at those shoes. Those shoes are amazing.
I'm gonna get me a pair of those in Morgantown.
And a big old smile on his face. Coach Hugs, he's enjoyed himself getting a chance to be back in Morgantown.
And by the way, Daxter Miles and Javon Carter looked equally as resplendent at the Big 12 Media Day.
Let me ask you this. When they first came into the league, for 2 years they struggled. And one of the things that was talked about was how, you know, the schedule and the travel is harder for West Virginia than any other team in the league. It's just geographically, it's just more challenging for them than anyone.
Yes, and the league has adjusted. West Virginia usually now opens up with 2 games on the road in the Big 12 during the winter break, so they don't miss classes. This year, I think they're going to Oklahoma State and Kansas State. But they chartered, John. You know, they're not on commercial flights anymore.
Yep. But are they basically turned into the second best program in the Big 12? You can make the case.
They have. For the last 4 years, I think there's no question.
Right.
Most consistently.
No doubt. Does that surprise you a little bit?
No, they got a Hall of Fame coach.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have a style that's hard to play against. And if Vermont West will shoot open threes instead of contested threes like that, they'll make a few more. And
I'm framing it more in just, I guess it's impressive what Bob Huggins has accomplished, not in terms of, I'm with you. I mean, it's.
You know, when he was in the old Ohio Valley Conference at Akron, most of the league is in Kentucky, Tennessee. They're busing from Akron, right? Now they're on charter flights, and they're catered, and they don't have to go through an airport other than a private airport. You know, this guy's been winning everywhere he's been.
Everywhere.
Yeah, one of the reasons he's a Hall of Fame coach, in my opinion, is he was not born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His first head coaching job was at Walsh College in Canton, Ohio. I think it was NAIA back then. Then he went to Akron, then Cincinnati. And then he goes to Kansas State, which hadn't been winning for a while. One of the best things he did, think about this, and we saw that 1-3-1 zone last night by Mike Maker.
Yep.
That's the beeline zone. One of the great things Bob Huggins did in his first year at West Virginia, actually helped him eventually go to the Final Four. He had the players he inherited from John Beilein teach him the 1-3-1 defense, and they kept it in their repertoire. That says a lot about a coach's willing to not be a know-it-all, if that makes sense to you, you know? And they'll still pull it out on occasion.
Oh, I'm totally with you. Being comfortable with what you don't know.
Yes, and the other thing that I like about what he's done is I don't like when a coach takes over a program with good players and they don't say, well, hey, the guy left me good players. Like all of a sudden you're the genius, right? And so when Bob got to West Virginia, yeah, he was going to win with his own style, but didn't hesitate to mention that he inherited good players. It's called Coaching Etiquette 101.
Yeah, I get it. Toss inside. Levitas was checked into the game. Left hand. One tipped up, and eventually the Mountaineers have it. This one has been all West Virginia. They have dictated with their defense. They're up by 25. They're led by 23 at the break.
Well, that's nice. You know, we talk about contested shots. You don't want to take a lot unless you're a good player. This little guy has made some open. He's made some open shots. He's made some tough shots too.
He's got 14.
Yep.
And biggest lead of the game for the Mountaineers at 27. As they're looking to play Missouri in our championship coming up on Sunday night.
We saw Beetle get 17 points in 10 minutes last year at Oklahoma. Think about that. 17 points in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He is a prolific scorer out of Covington, Kentucky, which is really Bob Huggins' territory.
Yeah, right over the river in Cincinnati, from Cincinnati.
You can see the ballpark.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, the University of Cincinnati is going to play their home games this year at Northern Kentucky University as the Fifth Third gets rebuilt. That's a good night for Daxter Miles. He looks more comfortable, John, offensively.
Davis, kick out, jumper McSpadden. And here's Bolden. Bolden, left hand, and one. Absorbs the contact and says, let's go. And a chance.
Oh, man, he can score it. That time, he said, forget the three. I'm going to the rim. I'm going to show you I've been in the weight room. Take a look coast to coast. Nobody really stops him, so this is a smart play right there. Outstanding high school player. Covington Holmes. I remember when he was a freshman, John, he tore his ACL. So he missed that whole year. You know, it might end up being a blessing because it's allowed him to live in the weight room.
Yeah, get stronger.
Get stronger.
Learn.
He's only a sophomore, but he's in his third year. There's that little 1-3-1 now we talked about.
And underneath, they get the foul on Kanache. UCF here this afternoon without a three-point basket. He's charged with the foul, his third.
This young guy from Lithuania started at Texas Tech, his career that is, and transferred to UCF, and ironically he's reunited with Vince Taylor, former Duke star, was with Tubby Smith. And now he's with a fellow Dookie, Johnny Dawkins. Ooh, nice Euro step.
How about that, Lamont West?
Yep. Little awkward looking, but well done to get by the defender. That's a great, the reason the Euro step is so good is, John, if you drive it right at the defender's chest and then you sidestep him, he can't react side to side.
Yeah.
He thinks you're going to run him over.
Inside of the basket there from Miles Douglas. Again, all this time with Carter on the bench for West Virginia. Konate +1. Bob Huggins' team in control. Sags going to the line when we return. (67-33) all West Virginia here in our second semifinal. Coming up tonight on SportsCenter at 11 after Virginia Tech and Virginia. Number 2 goes down as Miami falls to Pitt. And we'll talk about the impact The college football playoff race. Plus, the day before the Iron Bowl, Marty Smith one-on-one with Nick Saban. And a report from Cleveland as Derrick Rose reevaluates his future in basketball. And UCF, not just playing basketball, but football. They just scored and they lead South Florida 35-34. 7:33 to go in the fourth.
A lot of coaching news. There will be over the next few days as the season comes to an end. A lot of good coaching jobs open. Scott Frost, great coach at UCF. Will he return home to Nebraska? They're likely to make a coaching change. There's that 1-3-1 zone. It's like they don't have enough harassment tonight.
The last foul on Teddy Allen, so he collects the person. Said Miles Douglas at the line.
Said he was getting a little tutorial on the side there from Larry Harrison, the assistant coach. Young guy trying to figure out the hug system. I heard this line this week. It's a great coaching line. I want to recruit guys who've got more questions than answers. And that's what Teddy Allen was doing right there. He knows he doesn't know. See, there's three kinds of players, John, right?
I know. There's three kinds of people.
Yeah, those that know, those that don't know, and then those that don't know they don't know. Those guys you can't coach because they think they know.
Yeah.
Give me the guys that don't know because they want to know. They just don't know. And so Teddy knows he doesn't know. So we could turn this into an Abbott Costello thing if we keep it up.
I know we could.
You know, and I know you know.
Yeah.
Those that don't know, they don't know. You cannot coach those guys, okay?
They don't really want to hang out with those people either.
No. They think they know.
I like the idea. I like the idea of I want to coach guys with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good line.
And you know what? I love Huggs' line. He told his AD, you either fire me or you give me a raise because I'm either not a good recruiter or I'm winning with guys that, because none of these guys are ranked other than Issa Ahmad.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, Issa was the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And honestly, he's listening at home. He's the most enigmatic of the group. He's a super talent that, you know, they're not always happy with in terms of his effort. But these guys, they're lucky to be on those charter flights. And they're going to play their butts off because of it. They don't mind being on these road trips in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But Issa Ahmad is the type of guy when we kind of assess, as you break down, you know, what could West Virginia end up being? What type of team? I mean, Issa Ahmad's the type of guy that can make them a more special team.
No doubt about it. No doubt. Because he's a monster. He's got the biggest hands in college basketball. And he's exactly what this team needs right now is another inside presence. The ESPN app doing its magic here inside HP Fieldhouse.
Got a couple of or two UCF fans focused on that football game for sure. There's Teddy Allen with the bucket.
That's got to make him feel good. Trying so hard to develop as a player to fit into this system. Certainly could use his scoring.
Carter pushes, elbow jumper, that'll go.
Not a surprise right there. Nobody's in the gym at the practice facility more than this guy's. Self-made player. Highly under-recruited. Just interesting because he went to a great high school with an incredible tradition.
Proviso East. That same school. Rivers and Michael Finley.
Yeah.
D. Brown.
D. Brown is now an assistant coach at UIC for Steve McLean. I got to watch them a couple weeks ago. D. Brown's going to be a star in coaching.
He played Jacksonville. Is that where he went?
What's that, John?
He went to Jacksonville. D. Brown?
No, that's the other D. Brown.
The other D.
Brown that played for the Celtics.
Illinois.
Yeah, exactly. Illinois' D. Brown, Final Four. Yep. Can I tell you something, John?
Yeah.
I don't know what Scott Frost is going to do in the next few weeks. He's going to have amazing offers, right? You see that stadium that's packed tonight? Yeah. I don't know if he leaves, but if he leaves, I predict that this will be the 2 best years of his coaching career. Not to say that he's not going to go on and win a lot of games at Florida or Nebraska, but there's an innocence about taking over a program like a UCF that had been down.
Sure.
He's a hero forever. And the sad part is oftentimes a guy's a hero one day and he's the villain the next day when he leaves. And it's the saddest thing in coaching because all young coaches want to move up the ladder.
Yes.
And sometimes be careful what you wish for.
Don't mess with happy is the phrase that,
yes.
You know, I mean, not to.
It's tough.
I want to do it the right way, but I mean, one of the coaches at this tournament, Coach Munson, made the move from Gonzaga.
Yeah.
And
they really weren't Gonzaga at the time.
At the time.
You know, but it turned into Gonzaga.
Yep.
It turned into a national program.
Yep.
I feel for him and his family. I really do. And obviously he's got the world by the tail.
Yeah.
Because he's a phenomenal coach. And, you know, he can go back to Nebraska, maybe Florida, depending. And obviously they're going to keep him. They got a great AD there in Danny White. And obviously a terrific basketball coach. But if he leaves, it's going to change his life financially forever.
Sure.
But, you know, it may not necessarily make him happier. And that's,
yeah,
it's a tough deal because he's not going to be able to enjoy what he's built in 2 years, if that makes sense.
Well, it does. And some guys follow that path and some guys don't. I mean, it's college basketball, Mark Few has stuck around and out there in Spokane. You know, it's funny. Brad Stevens had multiple opportunities to move on from Butler, and it took a job of the NBA and a big-time job of the NBA to lure him away.
And I haven't talked to Shaka Smart about this. He's got a great job, and it looks like he's got a really good team, but I know how hard it was for him to leave VCU because of what he helped build. You know, obviously there were great coaches before that, but as I watch that UCF score, that's what comes to mind. You know, Scott Frost has got a really tough life decision, and a lot of people would love to be in his position, obviously.
So then, should you have stayed at Manhattan?
No, I often say, I told my wife that day I took the St. John's job, this was the 4 best years of our coaching career. And when someone
said that then?
I did.
I don't believe you.
Oh, you ask her. She's here.
Where's Meg?
She's here.
I don't believe that
listen,
you said that.
It is not a knock on St. John's.
I know. No. I understand.
It was never my dream job. But my point is, because I didn't grow up in New York wanting to be there, but when they're going to make your family.
Yeah.
By the way, they helped me even when I resigned. They put my kids through college and funded my retirement.
Yep.
But yeah, the most fun I ever had coaching was at Manhattan.
Look out!
How about that?
Logan Rout
earning the scholarship, big fella. Cameron, West Virginia. He's a mountaineer through and through. You grow a beard, let your hair grow a little longer. We can make you another Nathan Adrian.
West Virginia foul number 11, Gabriel Hubbard, is second.
Yeah, haven't made a 3 today.
Amazing. And, feel bad for Johnny Dawkins because they've got a good team. We saw that yesterday.
Yeah, they do.
And obviously they're without his son, Aubrey. They're without, for the year, they're without, there you see Aubrey Dawkins, who was transferring eligible this year until a shoulder injury in practice.
Yeah, it was diving for a loose ball.
Yep. You know, he'll likely have a 5th and 6th year on-state petition, and they expect to get the top point guard at least in the preseason polls. DJ Taylor back.
Yep.
How about SMU last night beating Arizona? Watch the end of that game. Tim Jankovic, one of the best underrated coaches in the country.
So not 1 but 2 losses out there for Sean Biller's team.
How about the 7th place game tonight between Purdue, ranked 18th, and Arizona, ranked 2nd.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Congrats to Jay Wright. They won the battle for Atlantis. They'll be here next year at the Advocare. Nice drop off.
Shot wouldn't fall, and Ulvidas comes away with the board, and now Nathan Lang.
He's not my Vitas, he's Ulvidas.
Right. And Rout knocks it out of bounds.
Don't be bringing that stuff in here. Don't you know I'm from Cameron, West Virginia? Big guy earning a scholarship.
Lang goes about 6'1", Rout 6'11". About 90 seconds to go in this one, and it really has never been in doubt. West Virginia came out, played much better than they did last night against Marist. Got to give credit to the Red Foxes for sure. Georgia San Diego State coming up next from the Wooden Legacy.
You haven't even asked me where Cameron is. Where's it located? It's up by Wheeling. About 1,000 people in the town. Our guy Dino Gaudio's from that neck of the woods. Couple good Bob Evans up there, John.
Sometimes I'm not really sure you need me here. I'm not entirely sure you need me here. Ulvidas the rebound.
One thing about Morgantown, they've got 2 Bob Evans.
Miles a steal, weaving, left hand, and that'll go. Well, I'd have to think that Bob Huggins is much happier with effort, execution, and decision-making for his team in this one.
He's going to get a good night's sleep tonight after being up till 4 in the morning, watching film with his staff.
Our Advocare player of the game, James Bolden, outstanding, as the lefty came up with 17, including 4 3-pointers. Still to come, Nebraska and Marist. And our final is set. It'll be Missouri and West Virginia.
You see the size of Missouri, the speed of West Virginia. When you get a chance, we won't see Michael Porter Jr., but his little brother Jonte has been very good in this tournament.
Pretty good player.
Yeah, he just turned 18 a week ago. He was supposed to spend his senior year in high school, but once the family moved back to Columbia, he decided to reclassify at the end of the summer. And he's not a scorer like his brother is, John, but he's a very good all-around player.
And there is the 3 that they've been looking for the entire game. West Virginia wins at 83-45. The final. Bob Huggins' team into the championship game Sunday night, 9:30 Eastern, as they will take on Missouri. For Fran Fraschilla and our entire outstanding crew, I'm John Chambi saying so long here from HP Fieldhouse. Let's send it out to Titan Gym in Fullerton, California.